Get a little late. Give Walter some grief, man. You got to set your watch 10 minutes ahead so that you're always a little early for class. Get in on some of the quizzes that we have. Hey, a couple things today. Let's take a look at what's coming up and due. You got quite a bit, right? Your Chapter 9 quiz is due Thursday. Cash flow and balance sheet. So that should finish up Project 1, okay? It's smart. Some people have turned that in, and I've had a chance. I notice there's one in the Dropbox now I got to go back and take a look at. The thing, if you get it in early and I get a chance to review it, and, if there's corrections that need to be made and you get them done and it's before the actual due date, I'm usually pretty darn forgiving on any grades then, if that's the case, okay? If I'm still correcting and we're making corrections on your workbook, a month from now, then I'm a little less forgiving on the grades. So get after it again. Check your feedback. If you don't have a grade for a particular part of that assignment of the project 1, maybe it's going back to the starting point. You don't have a grade there for some reason. Go back and check that Dropbox and make sure I didn't leave you some feedback, or make sure that you submitted something. Make sure you do those things, right? Okay. I might eventually do that, but I don't feel that's really my responsibility. You guys need to go back and check. If you don't have a grade for a particular deal, make sure you get something submitted in there. Okay. When I look at the assignments, it's going to show up that something's in there if you drop something in late or whatever. I don't think any of those drop boxes are closed. Okay. The other thing that's way past due, and I don't have but maybe 6 of you, if that have actually submitted, is the choose a company. Yeah, 6 of 12 is what it says, and that was due September 9th according to my records. I thought we talked about it way back then, but maybe not, right? This is to choose a company for you to do your analysis for Project 2. Okay, I've gotten a few. What was yours, Jake? I remember that one kind of caught me by surprise a little bit. Yeah, Malibu Boats. Yeah. Small company. I didn't even think they were public, but by golly, they are. So, which is kind of cool. Somebody sent me one, and I sent it back and said, I think it was foreign, wasn't it? Can't remember who sent that one to me, or maybe it wasn't publicly traded, or at least I couldn't find any record of it being publicly traded. We need it to be a publicly traded company so that we can find the detailed financial information that we're going to need to do an analysis. Okay. Yeah. I should have left you feedback. Okay. So the feedback should have just said okay, or I think I said that sounds kind of interesting. I've never seen that Malibu Boats. And I kind of glanced at it a little bit if I remember right. So, okay. So yeah, get those in there, get those submitted. I don't know that particular assignment's graded. Maybe that's why people are dragging their heels a little bit on it. But I like to get after it a little bit. I like to see what companies you guys are doing. I kind of start tracking them a little bit, and following them. And I look for news articles about them, the same things you guys should be doing. Okay. Now, granted, that's kind of what I enjoy doing, so I don't know if you guys will ever get the same enthusiasm that I have for doing that kind of stuff, but I hope you do at some point, at least to some extent, because it can be important for your investing future and investing in your future, which you all should do, right? Easy problems are due also, right, on the 7th. Okay, the easy problems I think are just some payment problems, if I'm not mistaken. My admonition on there is pay attention when you're doing payments, if I remember right. Let me go take a look, see if I got that here. Easy problems. So the first one, I've got number of months, annual interest rate, 6%. What do you need to do to that 6% then? You got to divide it by 12, right? Because I got monthly payments. So I got 72 months. I've got to have an interest rate that matches on a monthly basis. And so I've got to divide that 6 by 12, which is 0.005 as a decimal, or 1/2 of 1%, right? Okay, per month. And you can actually do that. Let me show you something quickly here. Oops, that's some answers. But I can actually do that here if I'm doing a payment. Let me just really quickly, payment. Do I got it? Yeah, there we go. I prefer, and that's what I show you, I'm going to do it the quick way here, but I prefer that you type in this information here just like I have it in that Word, and then you use those cells to make your formula as opposed to this. But if I'm doing the rate and I've got, 6%, let's just say I've got, oh shoot, let me cancel out of here for now, I'm sorry. But let's say I've got 6% here. Okay, and then I'm going to figure out a payment here, and I go payment. So if I'm doing the rate, I can actually click on this, and I can do the divided by 12 right in this deal here, okay? And you can see it already has the correct number then out here. So you can do it there. You can also do it here, right? You could do, okay, this is equal to, 0.06 divided by 12. Then you got to extend that out so that okay, so you can do it there. There's several different ways that you can actually do that interest rate, but pay attention to that because that's extremely important. When we get down a little bit lower, car loan number 3, $47,000. It's a 6-year loan with quarterly payments. What's quarterly payments mean? How many payments a year? 4 times a year. So I've got an annual interest rate of 4.8%. What do I need to do with that one? Divided by 4. Yeah, exactly. Okay, which can be, I tried to make these kind of easy. That's going to be 1.2% then, right? Got a monthly payments there. I've got an annual payments there. So that one's fine. This one should be the easiest one of all of them, right? It's an annual payment, 3.75%. And then I got a student loan. Okay. Oh, yeah, okay, for a real estate mortgage. Yeah, I'm glad you caught that good. I want you to just look up what current rates are. I'm not going to, you need to be kind of close. Let me tell you, if you come up with 15%, you're wrong. I would say right now that 30-year term loans are substantially lower than 15%. Okay, go to bankrate.com, just put it in Google, what's an average rate. It varies around the country, so I don't expect everybody to come up with the same answer here. I just expect you to be in the ballpark. Okay, I know about what they are right now off the top of my head, but I kind of want you guys to look it up. See, if you were thinking about buying a car or buying a house, figure out some places where you could look that up and figure it out. Bankrate.com is not a bad spot. Jake, question? No, I'd put it. Good question there too. I'd put it all on Excel and then submit it in Excel. And do I have it in Excel as a download? I don't know if I do in the content section. I thought maybe I had done that, but maybe not. Let me check. 7 Z. Yeah, it's just under the Word document then, isn't it? Yeah, it's just under the Word. So yeah, put it in Excel. Just go ahead and type those things over. Like I say, I'd take it just like it is. Put the loan amount, boom, interest rate, boom, and then you hit that, like I've showed you. You're going to end up using this little function thing up here quite a bit the rest of the semester. So get kind of used to clicking on that and finding, the formulas and whatnot, which I tell you in the video, so they're pretty easy to find. So, okay. Questions about that? Ole and Lena is another one then that I have in there. And I talk about Ole and Lena buying a house, right, or talking about refinancing their house. This question that came up to me all the time, right, in my banking world. Should I refinance or shouldn't I? Okay, and it's come up even since my banking days. I've had friends call me up and say, what do you think? Should I refinance? There's a general rule of thumb, that people use. If you can save, with rates as low as they are now, if you can save 1.5% or so, it probably makes some sense to refinance. That's a general rule of thumb, but it depends on how many years you got left on the loan. It depends on a lot of other things, okay? This is going to give you that ability to figure that out. I'm doing it with a house, but it's the same damn thing if you're in business and you've got a mortgage on commercial property, right? It's the same thing if you've got a loan on a business equipment, machinery and equipment, those types of things. okay? So it's the same thing if we get into the business world. I kind of do this because then it crosses, crosses that divide and gives you guys a little bit of personal finance in addition to a little bit of business finance. So 3 ways to do it, right? You can calculate the present value of the payment difference and determine if it exceeds the $5,000, which is the cost of refinancing. Refinancing costs money. You generally have to get an appraisal. You got to get a new title insurance policy. You pay some fees, discounts, different things like that. Okay, I made a guess at 5,000. I don't know what the current amount is. It's probably in that neighborhood. Okay, $100,000 loan. You can't buy much of a house for $100,000 anymore, but it's all right. Okay, so calculate the present value of the payment difference and determine if it exceeds the $5,000. So you're going to calculate the payments for a $100,000 loan. It's 6%, but it's monthly payments, so we got to divide the 6 by 12, right? Same thing with a $100,000 loan at 4%. Obviously, this is going to have a lower payment, right? And the difference in that lower payment, let's say it's $50 a month, okay, then you can calculate a present value of that $50 a month. That's how much you're going to be saving for the next 25 years, okay, or 300 months. What's the present value of that, okay? Using the 2% CD rate as your discount rate. We call that a discount rate. Okay, so what's the present value of $50 a month for? And then that, if that exceeds the $5,000, then it would make sense to refinance. Okay. Number 2, you could calculate the future value of the difference in payments and calculate the future value of $5,000. So now we want to know what it's going to be worth 25 years from now. If I take my $5,000 and put it in a CD for 5,000 years, or if I take that $50 a month and put it into a similar investment that earns the same interest as that CD for 25 years, okay, what's the future value? I can guarantee, I can tell you that your numbers are going to be way different between number 1 and 2, way different, right? Because you're doing a present value versus a future value. Your outcome should be the same, okay? In other words, one should still be far more interesting than the other, okay? And then the third way, what if you just added and that's fairly common, what if you added the $5,000 to the loan, okay? So instead of having a $100,000 loan at 6%, you're going to end up having a $105,000 loan at 4%, and then you just compare the two payments, really, okay? That's probably the quickest and easiest, down and dirty way to really calculate this. If I add the $5,000 to the loan, I'm saving 2%, and I can still save, a payment every month. Geez, that would make some sense. So, okay. So those shouldn't be real difficult, but I think a lot of people get angst as they're reading through it. It's kind of like the old story problems that we had in grade school. They drive us crazy because they're story problems, right? But don't have the angst, right? If you got some questions about it, just holler at me. They shouldn't be too difficult. I think that's all I need. I wanted to go over the easy problems. I wanted to go over the Ole and Lena. I think the assignment's pretty straightforward. Like I said, get used to using that formula thing up there because that's pretty important. So, questions? Okay. Yep. I much prefer that. That way I can click on it and see if you guys made a mistake somewhere. Yeah. Just do it that way. Just turn all the Word documents into Excel. Okay. I thought I had them in Excel. I apologize for that. I probably should have done that. But that way it makes you guys do a little bit of the work anyhow and do Excel. So, okay. Other questions? It's a good question. All right.